Hi guys, and welcome to Charles de Gaulle, Paris. Now it's been an early start for me because I've connected all over the way from Stockholm this morning, but soon I'll be traveling on, yes you guessed it, Air France's 777 all the way to Los Angeles. Come follow me as I check out if this carrier still has some joie de vivre. Now, Charles de Gaulle Airport isn't my favourite. It's a labyrinth of badly named terminals that somehow do and don't connect. But I was thrilled to see that things are a little easier when you arrive from a Schengen country. After coming out of the gate, I headed straight across a drawbridge to Air France's main long-haul piers, K, L and M. Today's flight departed from Hall L, which houses one of the airline's most recent lounges. Even if you don't have lounge access, you can reenact your Parisian adventure along the Champs-Élysées with all of these designer boutiques, certainly geared towards a more affluent crowd. The lounge is situated on the upper level, and a swift lift ride takes you to the entranceway, which features this sparkly champagne bubble Air France logo. The lounge is pretty big and has some smaller sections running off the main lounge area, which features this gorgeous gold reflective ceiling relief, which is a real showstopper. The other areas are a little more conventional, but nicely sectioned off, and it's great to see the airline moving away from the tricolore red, white and blue standard palette. In the maze of rooms off the main lounge, there's a small quiet spot to relax, this warp core of an art installation, and a Clarion Spa, which was sadly closed when I came. So after doing some laps around this mind-altering lights, I headed to the main lounge to explore the food options. As I arrived at breakfast, there were a range of pastries and wines, which could be enjoyed at a wide range of tables, although I made a beeline back to the booths in the centre of the lounge, grabbed a coffee and a copy of the airline's in-flight magazine, which was eventually joined by a range of lovely pastries. At 11 AM, the service is changed, and the champagne is brought out like clockwork, which was accompanied by some salty snacks. And as a really lovely personal touch, the team then came around with a trolley of amuse-bouche and champagne, which was actively handed out to virtually every passenger like some kind of ceremony. Before long, it was time to head to the gate, which was situated just a few minutes away. Hall L gives these wonderful views of aircraft, and I timed my arrival perfectly to be first to board the aircraft. Now, some of you have asked about price. I bought this ticket return Stockholm to LA for just £2,000 or $2,500 at the time. It is pretty affordable and certainly competitive on the route. Air France has a wide range of wide-bodied aircraft with lots of different seat designs, but as my 777 had a first-class cabin, I knew I'd be travelling in one of their older yet perfectly acceptable reverse herringbone seats. Now I did wonder, being one of their older cabins, how was the seat going to hold up against lots of more advanced competitors? Well, on first glance the cabin is pretty nice, although the 777's yellow cabin lights certainly do age the overall look a bit. What I did like with the layout of this aircraft was the mini business class cabin of just 4 rows, which is certainly the better of the 2 cabins, as the larger business class cabin behind feels pretty big and lacks a more intimate sense of privacy. Sadly, I got a glimpse of the gorgeous first class seat, but resigned myself to 4L, my perfectly acceptable business class throne. At the seat was a hanger, a large blue linen pillow, but the most noticeable element was the large footwell, which really does feel unrestrictive when the seat is turned into a fully flat bed. There's an armrest for additional comfort, and these privacy screens which are already placed for solo travellers on the centre pairs. It's actually a nice thoughtful touch to have the cabin prepared this way. After taking a seat, I decided to settle in and check out the seat in all its glory. There are pretty basic seat controls and the screen pops out, and I got to enjoy it all the way through takeoff without having to stow it. The hand controller has a second screen which is useful for the map, and the headphones were pretty decent. The table is large and folds out, but sadly you can't adjust the position like you can on the Super Diamond. The bold red storage unit is great, and I love the little vanity mirrors situated in the door. The amenity kits, pillows and blankets were nicely designed, albeit I found the contents of the amenity kit a little bit basic, even though it is nice to see those Clarins products. Before we push back, orange juice, water and champagne were served. I mean, it would be rude not to. As well as hot towels. And when I say hot, I mean nuclear. I decided to head to the toilet while my towel cooled down. The toilets are pretty basic, but stocked with great Clarins products. After a short 20-minute delay at the gate, we pushed back and were screened Air France's iconic safety video, which was accompanied by great views of the rest of the Air France fleet out of the window. Before we knew it, it was time to make our way on the 10-hour trek across to LA. Now, one thing I always associate Air France with is its food. I've always been surprised and delighted by the menus they offer, and today was no exception. Literally 10 minutes after takeoff, the welcome drink service commenced, which was accompanied by another amuse-bouche to whet the appetite. Just another 10 minutes later, my table was prepared, and I have to say I'm impressed by the speed at which Air France crew work the cabin, but it doesn't feel rushed at all. My tray was delivered featuring the starter duo, a salmon fillet, although the pea and basil soup on the menu had an identity crisis and turned into a pickled ginger and edamame bean salad. Both, however, were delicious. I was then surprised when I saw what looked like a dry chicken breast and overcooked pie served, although the cream sauce ignited all of the flavours, and that chicken breast was succulent, and what I thought was a pie was actually beautiful boulangerie potato dish that was totally Moorish. Of course there was more, with a cheese plate and crackers and this incredible selection of desserts, including ice creams and sorbets, but the petit fours were just calling me. All in all, the lunch service took about 1 hour to 90 minutes, and we were just approaching the coast of Iceland when the cabin took a decidedly more relaxed tone. At this point, I headed to the galley, which was designed as a mini help-yourself station, although I have to admit, it looked really sad, even though the crew put a lot of effort into making it look good. The problem is, when you have a display like this, if you cut back on the offering, it really does show to the customer. After watching a few shows and relaxing a bit, I decided to do a bit of work for the remainder of this day flight. It was annoying, however, that the Wi-Fi on this flight didn't work, and the crew were very apologetic. About 2.5 hours before landing, the cabin was brought back to life. The crew once again brought the trolley out, serving drinks and a delightful duck shepherd's pie, along with a fresh fruit and financier. However, when I asked for an espresso, the crew were incredibly apologetic. It seems the espresso machine and the Wi-Fi were inexplicably linked, as neither were working, leaving me with a weirdly soapy coffee and another hot towel. The crew could see that I wasn't doing so well with the Wi-Fi or coffee, so came running up to me with a souvenir, which was a lovely touch. And all that was left for me to do was watch the views as we descended into LA. It really is one of my most favourite approaches in the world. On landing, I'm left to reflect, and I have to say Air France, although their shortcomings in a tired product and a lack of Wi-Fi and coffee, still has a little bit of je ne sais quoi that makes me want to come back for more. If only they could offer a little bit more in the galleys through the flight and fix some of the tech, they are onto a winner, and it's certainly not enough to put me off flying with them again. And as long as they keep their catering standard up, they are a strong international contender. Once again, thank you for watching, and please let me know what you think of Air France in the comments below, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Until next time, safe flying.